I like to think I would have a problem one day with people going back in the podcast and I get canceled for that, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I would have that problem only because I'm big enough to have that problem. And that problem hasn't
Yeah.
come up yet, so that's just telling me that I'm not
Yeah.
big enough.
It's like, for dictators, they typically go out in a not so great way, but the
Right,
only way that you can really have somebody assassinate you is if you made it to the top.
right,
Otherwise, you just get murdered,
right, if
which
you're
anyone can get murdered. Only the
yeah,
elite can be assassinated.
that's a really good point. What's the threshold between assassination and murder, you know?
Um, ooh, 1,000,000 followers? I don't know what it
Did
would be.
Caesar have 1,000,000 followers? He kinda did.
He is, depending on who you ask, he was the richest person to ever live. So that, $2 trillion dollars in today's money, roughly. I
Right.
mean, that's pretty good.
Is it an assassination if at least over 5,000 people celebrate your death? Okay, or if there's one parade to celebrate your death, even a little
Ooh,
parade, if there's a picnic.
there are 5-year-olds' birthday parties that end up having picnics, and those little bastards don't matter.
So
So
it's a good point. That's a good point.
it's got to be a parade, a sizable parade too.
Yeah, if there's a float.
Oh, if there's a float dedicated to your stabbing, uh, yeah, you made it in life.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If there's reenactments,
Oh my god.
then it's an assassin.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my yeah, if Ken Burns makes a documentary about your assassination, you have done something with your life.
Then it's an assassin. Yeah.
Yes, that is an ass for
Yeah.
sure. Oh my god.
We
One can only hope. Well, maybe, both of us will get there someday.
Yeah, it's like, here's the threshold, like, getting murdered, that's embarrassing, you're just murdered. What's
Mhm.
worse than getting murdered? Canceled. Still alive,
Worse
but
than murdered?
canceled. Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's probably
because
true.
because because you're, still alive, but you have no more career. Murdered,
Yeah.
canceled, assassination.
Yes, but yeah, because you have to have some level of notoriety to be canceled, but
Mhm.
not necessarily the level to be assassinated.
Right,
Like
who's
like
been
if
canceled lately? Like, they're
Kevin
not getting
Spacey. So if Kevin Spacey was shot in the head, uh, as murder, nobody
right,
assassinated, the guy from American Beauty. Like it's,
correct.
like, but are celebrities assassinated, or is
Well,
it only?
one could argue that, well, now I'm blanking on his name. Who the Epstein.
Mhm.
He would that have been an assassin?
Oh, that's a good point because there's a political influence there.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he's also getting, rub and tugs alongside some celebrities, which, teach
Correct.
their own. But yeah, that's a good point. If you had the chance to buy that island, would you buy it? Like if you had the means?
Yeah, when at the end of the day, that's real estate.
Boy, is it. I
At the
mean,
end of the day, every gravesite is just real estate,
yeah.
you
I think
know?
I'd buy a cemetery.
Yeah, it's just real estate. You
Yeah.
could, I mean, if I buy it, I'm not buying it for the same reasons. I'm not doing the same things on it. Maybe I'll put an Epstein museum on there. Maybe I'll put an Epstein theme park on there where now children can come and enjoy themselves safely.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. A
And
tilt-a-whirl is definitely a
yeah.
better experience than what the the others got.
Yeah,
So
we won't put swings or planes on there. We won't put those rides on there.
gotcha, gotcha.
That's
What
a
about
little
like
too
a
sexual.
fun house, like with like the mirrors and shit? Because that can
Ye-
kind of go both ways a little. That can get
Yeah.
a little deviant.
Yeah, and like or oh, here we go. An escape room.
Oh, the whole
And
island was an escape. It was an escape island.
and here
It
it
was
is.
Alcatraz.
You and the way to open the door is just say no.
Yeah.
You just say you are not my father. This man is not my
Yeah.
father, and then the door opens.
Yeah. Yeah. Stranger danger, stranger danger. And then,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that would be God. I would never have made it off the island. Not even close. I'd probably still be there. I have
I
no willpower.
I you know I get I I've been on a few private jets now, and
Congratulations.
thank you. None mine,
Yeah, yeah,
but,
well,
unpopular opinion, but I get it. I'll do anything to get back on one. I fly so much, I'll do anything to fly private versus a commercial flight.
oh, I can't even imagine.
And some of those kids, that's the only time they've been technically out of the country. That's fun.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, see, they say, that traveling broadens the mind.
Mhm.
So,
And
maybe
they
they got
met
a
s
little. Oh, yeah, and they
yeah.
got to meet, Bill Clinton multiple times, which,
Were these
he was
kids
a goddamn
like
president.
yeah, in a one-on-one. Were these kids
Mm.
like, did they get to go back? They got to go back on the plane, right? They went
Uh,
back home.
yeah. Yeah, they're not still there. I mean,
Okay. I
yeah,
didn't
and
know if
I'm
it
sure
was
they
like an
didn't swim back.
so, like, they sent them there, rendezvous, then they got back go back. It was just like spring break, and then they
Yeah.
went back.
Yeah, it was oddly similar to spring break in many
Mhm.
ways. I mean, Bill Clinton was there, so that's
Right.
already. I mean, you go to Panama City, a couple months ago, you're gonna see Bill Clinton there.
You're always gonna see Bill Clinton if you go to Panama City.
Look, huh?
You're always gonna see Bill Clinton when you go to Panama City.
Oh, amen. I mean, if you know, it goes back to the old adage: if you can see Bill Clinton, he can see you. But if you can't see Bill Clinton, you are moments away from, you know, a little
From
squeeze.
Hong Kong. Do
Yeah.
you think that him and Hillary Clinton's relationship was, a business relationship from the
Uh,
get-go?
it was full on Liza Minnelli for sure. Like, it was a
Re
business beard.
For sure. Like, do you think they've ever touched each other?
Oh,
Ever?
yeah. Oh, complete. I mean, you think in a limo ride to, whatever billionaire's house, Bill Clinton isn't getting tugged off by Hill Dog at least, every
Why
once in a while.
I feel like she's the first woman in his life to be like, "Absolutely not, William."
Well, that could be true too. I mean, there's definitely been a lot of, a lot of those types of sounds are just like, oh, okay. And then
Yeah,
hence Monica Lewinsky.
for
Um,
sure. And
but
Hillary
yeah,
really wanted to be like, "Yeah, of course that was happening. I don't wanna touch the man. We haven't slept in the same wing in decades."
yeah,
But the only thing I'm pissed off about is he got caught. You idiot. Take
yeah,
care of your shit behind closed doors and make sure they don't talk. I mean, I really like the idea of like I feel like they're our like most like um like empire-esque arranged
oh yeah,
marriage, you know, like they're
without a doubt.
I don't know if there will ever be such a like kind of deadly behind the scenes arrangement
Oh,
that has ever been
deadly for
made since
sure.
yeah, since those 2 coupled up. And how
Yeah,
many people are involved in their like, who started the conversation? Was it them? Did those 2 know, or was it their families? Was it was it the politics with those families were attached to that were like, "These 2
yeah,
need to be attached?" Like,
yeah.
I have so many
Yeah,
questions.
because the Rodhams, Hillary Rodham, like the Rodhams are, they're pretty high up there. I don't know about Bill Clinton. I think he might have been born in a goddamn shack for all I know. But the Rodhams, they're pretty elite folks. And then granted, she's uh I mean, she was with his ass for about 2 weeks and then she started talking like goddamn Holly Hunter, like with this, full fake accent. Like, like
It's like
yeah.
she went to school and started practicing.
Yes. Yeah, like
Yes.
yeah. Oh, I know. It is bizarre that she went from, growing up in New York or wherever the hell to
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
she
yeah.
sounded like goddamn Loretta Lynn within about a week. You're like, "Oh, no, how the fuck does this happen?"
Dude, they gotta appeal to the masses.
Oh, well, they did. I mean, in one way or another, uh, appeal to the masses and take over the
Ye
world. Yeah,
yeah.
that's so by
It's
the way, welcome to the show,
thank
Katherine
you.
Blanford.
I
Yes.
love asking you these questions because I am what I was gonna told you I was gonna wait till the
Uh-huh.
till we started recording. I am, such a fan of yours, and I'm very much, maybe I've gotten to where I've gotten to, not very far, but, because I'm I just like to dream. I have an imagination. I genuinely am not very smart, book smart, facts wise, history wise,
Okay.
and I learn a lot of stuff through you.
Thank you.
And it's very fun. Like I watch, who's connected to who and who's connected to who, and I have to Google half of these people afterwards. And
Yeah.
I love your what was it? The origin of words is so fun.
Yeah.
I was on tour with Bert and we were
Mhm.
sitting down at breakfast. Do you know Bert Kreischer?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for
And we
sure.
were sitting down at breakfast at catering, and he goes, I just learned the meaning of the word salary. And I go, I did too. Did you just watch Cody Tucker's reel? And he was like, yeah.
Oh,
And
that is
and
awesome.
we're at different points in the tour bus, like
Yeah.
watching your stuff. It's so you're very efficient with it, and you've really cornered a market and like interesting stuff, like a wide variety of um facts, just the history of music and like words and I don't know, you're so entertaining. It's so
Thank you.
fun.
Jesus,
Yeah.
you're making me blush. My god.
Yeah, I can
Yeah, I,
tell.
well, I always have a red face. It's childhood obesity more than anything, but, yeah, it comes in waves. Yeah, I no, I've just always been fascinated by stuff like that, and I hate taking up people's time.
Yeah.
So, like, I enjoy watching documentaries because I have a pretty long attention span, but I know most people don't. And then when you watch, like, a documentary, read, a book on Julius Caesar or something. There's so much bullshit in there that like who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck about
Right.
any of this? So
Right.
I'd rather just like
How he changed his diet
yeah,
as his rise to fame came
or
about.
going through the millions of battles he was a part of. I don't give a
Mhm.
damn what any about any of that. I just want to know like weird shit about people. Like
Yeah.
and so I was like, well, and I've kind of always like done that, like collected, facts or whatever. It's like, well shit, I mean, I guess I could just, do something with this, which I was already doing the podcast. It's just I hadn't done like the history stuff
Right.
yet.
Right.
So
It makes me realize that everything is a lie. Or everybody for the most part feels like they got somewhere because they knew somebody to get somewhere, and nothing's real, and to just have fun because you can't control anything because everything behind the scenes is already being controlled.
yeah, there is a lot of that. There is a lot of where you're just like, oh, that explains why you were in this movie. Is
Right.
your uncle is so and so. But like I don't ever do those to be like, oh, nepotism's bad. I think nepotism's great. It exists everywhere.
Yeah.
So, but it's weird that people are so angry about it when it comes to like entertainment. Like if you, I mean, I don't know like your family history, but let's say like your aunt was, Phyllis Diller or something, which
Oh,
maybe. I
I'm
mean,
gonna
we can
lie and say, yeah.
we all wish. But people would probably judge you based on that. Like, oh, of course she's in comedy. Fucking Phyllis Diller's your aunt. But you still have to be funny. Like,
Right.
you still have to have talent. Like, So I
It's
don't.
it's almost like because the talent not is in your bones, or you were exposed to it at such a young age
Yes.
that now that talent has cultivated in you.
Well, and you can see firsthand that it's possible to do it. Like I
Right.
grew up in a city that I mean, Matthew McConaughey is like the only famous person from my city, and nobody knows his ass. Like, which I don't
Mhm.
think anybody knows him who knows him.
Yeah.
So like the idea of becoming famous just seems like that doesn't happen to people here. Like that's
The
foreign. But if
the
your
only
aunt
way
is famous, then you're
yeah.
like, oh shit, I could do this. Like she did it. I'm having Thanksgiving with her and she's famous. Like,
Right, and it's cool to, like, see, uh, the direction of where even I my favorite is I always, like, love how they get stranger and weirder as the nepotism goes down the line. Do you know what I mean? Like, Will
oh yeah.
Smith was very mainstream generic, right? Like, he's, like,
Yes.
clean rapper, Fresh Prince,
Right.
network sitcom, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden, like Willow and what's her son's
Jaden,
name?
the
Jaden.
son.
They're
Oh,
like I'm gonna do an album of just screaming. And you know what I mean? And like they're
that's their
all like,
mom.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah. And they're
mom
like, listen to
feeding
me.
them in.
Yeah, I'm gonna shave half my head. And it's fun to watch uh when they go down the line and the next generation is like, well, I'm already accepted because I'm so and so. So
Yeah.
now I have to surpass them on like a artist like front, so they get
Yes.
weirder and weirder and weirder.
Yeah, there's only I mean, look at like Charlie Sheen compared to, his dad, Martin Sheen's,
I
massively
always
famous, but
forget that.
Charlie Sheen's a nut job. But then you look at Emilio Estevez, he seems to be a pretty normal fella. And I mean,
Who was his?
Emilio Estevez is Charlie Sheen's brother, Martin Sheen's other son. And
Are you effing with me?
did you really not know that? Their name is
No.
Estevez. Like it's Charlie Sheen's name is Carlos Estevez. It's not Charlie
No,
Sheen.
it's
And
not.
yeah, and Martin Sheen's name is Ramon Estevez, I believe. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that that's right. I know that Carlos Estevez is right. And yeah,
Yeah.
so Emilio Estevez chose, to go by Estevez so that he wouldn't be confused with his dad, even though they look and sound the exact same.
Right, right, right. But
Yeah.
Charlie, and it was like like that's so funny that
Yeah.
he was like, I'm gonna drop Estevez, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the bachelor brother on this sitcom.
Oh
That's
yeah.
how I know Charlie Sheen. It's always funny. It's like two. I do think they get weirder because they're born into the weird
Yeah.
already, and
Oh yeah.
it's a level of um reality that well, a lack of reality from the
That's it.
get-go.
Yeah, it's a
Eh
lack of a normal childhood. That
yeah.
that will turn you into a weird son of a bitch quick.
Yeah. I think too, like, nepotism, whatever, if it's annoying to you, sure, but I am be from living in Kentucky and then having a normal college experience, right, and then starting comedy in Atlanta and did it for 8 years in Atlanta, and then coming out here, like, when I
Yeah.
was in my 30s to LA, and kind of being exposed to stuff once I got out here pretty
Mhm.
from the jump, like, becoming good friends and, having close relationships with people who have been in the limelight for a long time. I've never been more grateful for normal upbringing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I could imagine. It
'Cause
really is. I mean, I wouldn't say I necessarily had a normal upbringing, but I definitely didn't grow up in a famous
y
upbringing. Like, I
yeah.
had a pretty weird ass upbringing, I would say, which everybody kinda does in their own
Well,
way.
like, you had to have a job. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, you
yeah,
had to
yeah, yeah,
work for stuff
for
and, like,
sure.
I, I've like whatever's happened in my career now, I'm so freaking grateful for. Like,
Yeah.
if the plane crashed down today, I'd be sad. I'd want other stuff. I'd want to do other stuff, but I already feel like I have surpassed my dreams for myself, and I feel like that. And I just sure day to day I find stuff that's frustrating to me, but I still
Mhm,
like it's crazy how grateful I am, and I don't feel like people who are born from the get-go in Hollywood or anything like this,
mhm.
I don't know if they ever, like, get to that level of gratitude because
Ah,
it always is the tits.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
never
yeah.
not the tits.
It's tits always. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's no, I mean, if you grow up and your dad is fucking Clint Eastwood, like, how are you gonna have a life that ever sucks? Which,
Yeah, but
as far as I know, he's actually like, with his son, his son is like, what's his name? Scott Eastwood? Maybe.
you
But,
tell
like,
me.
I think I'm pretty sure that's his name. But, like, Clint Eastwood, wouldn't hire him for movies. And, like,
Yeah,
he tried to, like, give him, sort of a normal upbringing, but how
right.
normal could it ever be when your dad is, a named Dirty Harry? Like, it just there's no
Yeah.
way. Yeah,
And then
that's
and then, like, I mean, God, sure, I have a dream of, like, creating my own project, right?
Mhm,
Writing a show or a movie or whatever. That is my ultimate dream and creating something that lasts and speaks to people. But God, if you're Clint Eastwood's son, it's almost like even if you don't do that, if you do that,
mhm.
it's just an also an and to what your dad has already done.
Yeah, you would have to go into something completely different that makes it like, you'd have to become
Yeah.
an athlete or a scientist, like, you would have to do something that has nothing to do
S
with, like, movies, music, anything like that. Maybe music, you could probably do, like, a music. You definitely can't go into movies or
No.
TV and live up to that, just ain't
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Science would be it. You can't fake smart. Well,
Uh,
sometimes I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I fake smart. Super well.
No, you're
I
not.
am.
I wish you could come with me to all these freaking LA hoo hoo ha ha parties and just be like,
Oh,
"Listen,
yeah.
no, 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 so and so.
Yeah.
It's Estevez, not Estebas or
Oh
something," because
god.
I mess that up a lot.
It is actually pronounced Esteves, but I feel like a
Estevez.
douche saying
See,
that, so,
see,
yeah.
I need you.
Yeah, I know, thank you,
I
but yeah,
I I I feel like when I grew up, I don't know anything. Like I grew up like my parents weren't home when we got from home from school and we just ran we got on our bikes and ran around
a
or like
latchkey kid.
watched Ren and Stim. Yeah, very
Yeah,
much. I talk
same,
about it.
yeah,
But you know shit. How do you know did your parents
yeah.
expose you to
No,
stuff?
fuck no. No, I, was very similar being like a latchkey kid. So the only difference is that you saying like, when you would come home, so you come home, parents aren't there, you
Right.
immediately get on a bicycle and go hang out with friends,
Yeah,
right?
we'd
Or
be
something
like
like that?
doing tricks and breaking bones on skateboards and stuff.
Right. So me being a bit of a puss, I'm going inside and just watching movies, reading, playing guitar a little bit. Like it is all just me in here and just I don't know, trying to like occupy my time. One, grew up in a trailer park that was a little sketchy.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't really want to go hang out with people and like try to not fall onto used needles.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah, you
so
were reading for safety.
yeah, I was just like, I think I'm safer watching
Y
Taxi Driver for the 50th time,
yeah.
which probably wasn't a great idea either. But I just
No.
read a lot. I watched a lot of documentaries. Any of those like pop culture, like talking head shows, like I love the 80s, I love the
Mhm.
90s, like would watch all of that kind of stuff, just trying to like learn shit. I just have a good memory. That's really
Yeah.
more what it is than like being smart. I think there's a difference between just like memorizing shit really well and then actually being able to like, I don't consider myself to be a very smart person. Like,
I
like,
mean,
I mean,
you're
I don't
fooling
know.
me. It's just I
Yeah.
always envy, uh, kids like you. I'm like, "God, I wish I would've." It's dude, it's such a shift. I remember when I was growing up, they were like, "TV's rotting your brain," and blah, 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 blah. And then
Yeah.
I got to LA and they were like, "Well, what shows are you into?" And I was like, "Hacks." And they're like, "What else?" And I was like, Hacks season 2." And
Yeah.
And they were like, "You gotta watch more TV. You gotta watch TV every day. You gotta
Yeah.
watch movies every day." And I'm like, "What is this? What is it? This is how I was conditioned at all." I was like, "If you don't get 15 hours of sunshine, you're gonna disintegrate into a cloud of dust."
Yeah.
It's very funny. Like I don't know. I feel like I grew up on just a like go to work and play ball kind of household, and I'm
But
so
that's a good way
envious.
to grow up. Like that's a good way to grow up for sure.
Yeah, it was fine. It was
Like
interesting.
I am envious, which is so funny about that. Like I'm envious of people that grew up more like you, where you're going out and playing with friends and just like getting into like adventures. I never went on
Yeah,
an adventure. Like
yeah.
that was like a thing. Like oh, it would have been an adventure for sure. Like as soon as I left my yard, oh boy, I, I mean there is a very reasonable chance that I'm not coming back home.
Is it
So
that dangerous?
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but actually not
Oh,
really. So
yeah.
just a little, dive in. The house down towards the end of which is it's like a trailer community, not a trailer park, which really churches it up a little bit. Yeah, but the end of the street, there was a fella who drove a hearse, which should have been a red flag.
That
Um,
was his job?
no, no, no. Oh, no, I should be more specific. He did not have a job. He just happened to own a hearse, and that hearse was his daily, daily vehicle. And he used to drive around. He's a bald dude, kind of skinhead, skinny, meth
Mhm.
addict. Uh, turns out he had kidnapped and killed a couple of kids, uh, and was arrested for murder. So yeah, um,
They they didn't get the guy driving the hearse around after the first kid?
that is correct.
Right.
Which I mean, everybody in this little area were latchkey kids, so
Mhm.
you're not really gonna get noticed if you go missing. Some of them, and a lot
Until
of
5:36 PM.
Well, for some of these parents, so some of these are latchkey kids whose parents also didn't work, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Oh,
Um,
they're at the track.
yeah, or just,
Mm,
strung out. And so
yeah.
they're at home, but not really.
Sure, 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 sure.
So,
They're making ramen for them and mom for when mom
yeah.
wakes up.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Damn.
That's a little bit of the situation. I was not growing up like that. Like luckily, parents are, took
Yeah, yeah,
care of me and
yeah.
everything. But a lot of the kids, in the area, oh boy, yeah, they were living a different life than I was living.
That's like now I have a joke about it where it's like if you want 2 kids these days, you have 2 kids. But I was like, back in the day, like on the Oregon Trail, if you wanted 2 kids, you had 11.
Yeah,
And because
and
you
it
knew you'd
dwindled
lose.
down.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think it's the same thing in the trailer park. Like, yeah, we
yeah,
wanted to. So we had 5. And then
yeah.
if we lost a couple, we were like, it's part of the plan.
Well, and the 2 oldest are gonna end up being the ones who take care of the 3 youngest.
Mhm.
So you go ahead and get the first 2 out of the way, because then those are gonna be the second group of parents to raise their other siblings'
Yes.
children.
Yes. We
Yeah.
had 2 kids and 3 babysitters.
Yeah.
That's what you say. That's like
Yeah.
when you forget like Catholicism or whatever else. Like my dad, very Catholic family,
Mhm.
but grew up on a farm. They had 10 kids, and you're like, why? And you're like, because they grew up on a farm. They had
Yeah.
kids, but they also had farm hands all of a sudden.
Right, right.
And it was like, of course, you have three boys that are gonna wake up and go milk the cows before they go to
Yeah.
school and etcetera. And now when I see families with 6 kids, I'm like, you're not this isn't now you don't need these kids. Now you're just hurting the population.
Yes.
Now you're feeding that you're adding to the masses that
Yeah,
are already
you're
too much.
hoarding humans.
Yes,
It's
I'm
not
very much a
good.
proponent of like 2 kids max per fam.
Yeah, China kinda had it right for a little bit, as much as I'm not a communist, despite what some people may think. But anyways, they, the one child thing is not so bad.
Right.
I think 2 is perfect. I have a younger brother, when there ain't nobody else, and I'm cool with it. I
I know
wouldn't want there to be anybody else.
if I'm president, here's the rules. First of all, um,
Oh, I love
you
this.
you have to adopt a dog for every child you have. And adopt and we check up on the dog's well-being. I'm good with kids. I don't need to check up on their well-being. If you're treating the dog right, I'm assuming you're treating your child right.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and you get 2 kids max for deductions, right? Like if you
mhm,
claim 2 dependents, you do get tax deductions. More
right.
than 2 kids, and you're paying more. You're paying
Oh,
more taxes if you have more than 2 kids
I
because
love
now
this.
isn't I mean, doesn't that just make sense? Because
Yes.
now we have to feed a lot of mouths. Now it's 2
Mhm.
people that have made 2 kids. That's 1 equals 1. Okay, fine. But 2 people that have made 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids, now you're sucking you're sucking from the earth more than you're giving to the earth.
Lem
And now we're
Yeah.
taxing you more.
You know what? I would vote for you in a heartbeat. Actually, no, because I would like to be the running mate, which I don't know if you can vote for yourself, can't you? It's not like Survivor or anything.
You
Yeah, so
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll run with you because I have some stances that I would like to get behind. I think you'd probably because I firmly feel like it should be in my right. Like if I see some like white trash ass family with 8 kids at Walmart who clearly are, they're not paying for any of this shit. So I should be able to go up to them and grab a little bit of their food and eat it in front of them and go, I paid for some of this. So this is mine. These 2 grapes are mine. That's my 2% that went into this. Yeah. Yeah.
110%,
Also
dude.
getting rid of hyphenated last names. One
Yeah.
name. You get
You
one name. Because
you
otherwise,
pick.
by definition, you can't have 2 last names because it
No,
wouldn't
you
be the
can't.
last name.
No.
So, yeah, all you're doing is confusing things. You're
Y
muddying up the waters.
you can combine names if you wanna hyphenate. If you wanna be who's a
Oh,
hyphenated name?
Pamela Anderson Lee.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're gonna
that's an
be
old reference, but yeah, I think they've been divorced for about 25 years, but sure.
they they have a man, I wanna say no, I can't.
All right.
I've seen I've seen him at some comedy I think he's married to a comic
Yeah,
out here in LA.
Brittany
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Furlong.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Pamela Anderly.
Pamela Anderley.
That's who you get to be if you want to force that.
Yeah.
Kim,
Or Leeson. Pamela Leeson.
yeah, I like that.
That's
Kim
not a bad one.
Kim Kardashian.
If you hate the Kardashians, are you Kardashian? Are you
I
Kardashian?
like that. I am
Yeah.
a yeah, and
I'm
I'm
a
not a
Kardashian.
Kardashian. I'm not.
Oh, you
I
like
think
them?
it's
Fan?
not a fan. I am fascinated.
That's the way to put it. Same way I feel about Honey Boo Boo. I don't know if you ever watched that.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I watched it just out of like the same way I watch like Planet Earth, where I'm like, wow, there are animals that do that. Like
And
that's
and
yeah,
watching people who are fascinated with them. I think it's
yeah.
who before the Kardashians made an empire out of nothing.
Oh,
Out of no intellect or talent. That's I mean, they do have intellect and talent, obviously, they're business people, and
yeah,
they know how to appeal to the
yeah, and
masses.
they know how to capitalize on the previous day's work. Like,
For
yeah,
sure.
which is a talent, but it's not one that I necessarily have like respect for. But it's
Yeah,
a talent nonetheless. I
but
mean,
it was like, I think if you were looking back on, the Roman Empire,
yeah,
I would call our era as a species the Kardashian empire. Like, as a whole, you're summing
yes,
up where we are as because okay, hear me out. Like,
yeah,
who do the Kardashians represent and what has it done to our society? They're people who control uh it's like we people's opinions are very much formed almost politically by by um fandom kind of,
hmm,
and that's kind of how our political system has like shaped too.
yes,
Like, I
without a
would
doubt.
yeah. So it's almost like we've shaped back into like turning our political figures or our celebrities into gods. And that's how it's almost like Greek kind of like, and now like we
Yeah,
base off of like our political values and whatever else based off of what these celebrities and other people do. And it's just because you know what it is, we have every other hierarchy met, so now we're basing stuff off of like what feels good to our self-esteem, who's supporting our self-esteem.
yes, yes. It is very plastic, I guess, in a way, but it,
Yeah.
it is. Have you ever read A Brave New World? Did you ever read that book
No.
in
Are
school?
do
Okay.
you think I did, Cody?
I don't
No, I
know.
didn't.
I should, I was told never to assume things about people.
Same
Although,
with
if I am a massive gambler, and I would have bet that you hadn't read it. No offense, but
I would have too. I would have
yeah.
hoped you would have put a lot of money on
Oh,
that.
oh, all of my money's going on. She has never read this fucking book.
I
But
got as far as it was the best of times and the worst of times
oh,
on
Tale of
Tale of
Two
Two
Cities.
Cities,
So that's the
and then I
first one.
bowed out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you didn't miss much. That book sucks. There's a thing with like classics, how you're supposed to like love these books because
Mhm.
they're old. I don't know if I've ever read one where I was like, this is amazing. They all suck. And I've read quite a few of them. It's,
E
it's the most boring bullshit. Like
What
there was just
about
nothing to do
what
back
about
then.
Animal Farm?
Well, that's a good one because it has talking animals. And you put
Yeah.
talking animals in anything and I'm interested. And it's like 80 pages. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
it was
take Animal Farm.
dark. That was a
Allegedly it's about like the revolution or something.
for
I
sure.
just like the animals.
It was
So
a dark book for me. I
yeah.
couldn't hardly handle it in 7th grade.
It's kind of it's pretty intense.
I
But A
know.
Brave New World is written by a fellow named Aldous Huxley.
Okay.
Very interesting fellow. He died the exact same day as John F. Kennedy and C.S. Lewis, who wrote Chronicles of Narnia. November 22nd, 1963. Yeah, they died all three like within a couple of hours of each other.
I love this.
Fucking nuts.
Yeah,
So yeah, what a time to die. Like, Aldous Huxley, C.S. Lewis are very famous writers, and then you get overshadowed by that prick. Like
I
that's
know.
God.
Wow,
Yeah.
nobody
It's
now,
uh it's 60s version of Farrah Fawcett, because she died like the
ooh,
same day as Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, I remember
Yeah,
that.
and no
Nobody
one gave a
talks
fuck.
about it.
People cared for about 10 minutes, and then it
I
was like,
mean,
get out of the way, Farrah. They almost kicked her casket over trying to
they
get to Michael Jackson.
did. God, I remember that. I
Yeah.
remember I remember the reason why I remember it is because I remember I came home on 9/11 from school, and my dad was mowing the lawn, and he was like, "Did you hear what happened?" Saw the
Yeah.
lawnmower for a second. I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Okay," and then he just kept mowing the lawn, and then I remember
Yeah.
the day Michael Jackson died, and I came outside and
Mhm.
I was like, "Dad, Jackson died," and he stopped the lawnmower and came inside. So
He cared more about MJ
yeah,
than I
pretty
mean,
much.
well, the lawn wasn't gonna mow itself on 9/11. Because
Come
also
on now.
yeah, exactly. In September, that's actually like about the last time of year you get to get a good mow in.
You gotta get it.
So
And
I respect it.
to us, the world was ending. My dad
Yeah,
grew up on a farm. His lawn was gonna look good
yeah,
if the world was ending.
yeah. And a terrorist attack can happen multiple times. There's only one Michael Jackson that can die.
There's only one Michael Jackson that can die.
Yeah,
It's a good point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now Janet has slowly turned herself into Michael Jackson, so it is getting when
Yeah.
she kicks the bucket, it'll be kind of like a shitty sequel. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Latoya more so. Actually, they're all kind of doing it. I saw a picture of Jermaine Jackson, and that motherfucker kind of looked like Lil Kim. So,
N Now, does that, eh, beg for the argument that maybe the nose was more genetic than
now
surgery if they're all their noses are doing it?
it is interesting. I've never heard of somebody's nose changing shape for the smaller as they've gotten older.
Right, but
Like bigger,
maybe
yeah, for sure. Like a good Dick Nixon nose will
yeah,
creep up on a fella. But yeah, I've never heard of somebody's getting small and pointy as
but
they've
all
gotten
of
older.
them, huh?
It seems that way. I mean, I haven't checked in on Tito in a while, but he might, you
Maybe
know.
they all sold their soul at a young age,
I think it
and
was sold for them.
it was sold
But
for
yeah,
them,
yeah,
and a result is kind of like they're, uh, they're starting to disintegrate.
yes,
Nose in.
yeah. It could be. It's a very good point. Hmm.
Yeah. Do you think,
Wow,
no, we're getting into conspiracy series.
that's fine.
Conspiracy series now.
That doesn't bother me if it doesn't bother you. I mean,
Okay. Well,
I'm into a few of them.
I don't know that many at all.
I
I
mean, I don't believe them necessarily. Some I do. Some I'm like, oh shit, that actually makes sense. But most of them, I just think they're fascinating. It's the way I look at religion. I'm not religious, but I am fascinated by religion. Like I
okay.
don't shit on it.
Okay, I have a crazy question. Do you know much about Beyonce?
Uh, I mean, oh yeah, I'd say a decent amount. I've heard a few conspiracies. I'm kind of
What are
curious.
yours?
Well, the one that I've heard, which I'm wondering if it's the same one, is that she's way older than people think she is.
I haven't heard that one.
Really? Yeah, she's allegedly like 8 to 10 years older than she says she is. Like her dad kind of let that slip one day. Is that
I haven't, and I'm obsessed with her, and I haven't heard that one at
yeah,
all.
yeah, that one kind of went around the old Reddit boards, for a little bit.
Right.
And
I can see. I mean, she to me is so not of this earth, unearthly. Is that unearthly, spacely?
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. All words are
Um,
made up, so
yeah,
might as
you're
well.
right.
Yeah.
So I could understand, like, because she's even older than she says she is, so she's
Mhm.
even wiser than would equal what she how wise she should be for her age.
Yes.
I just heard one yesterday. I'm so obsessed with her. I'm like, it's embarrassing. Like, I'm very, but my thing is, I'm not obsessed with like, I mean, I kind of am, but
Okay.
I'm very inspired by her work ethic and how
Yeah.
she's like continued to evolve and change and get better and to grow her art and her style, all the while without having like a mental breakdown, or
Yes.
like,
Yes.
yeah, kind of
Almost
melting.
no controversy, like real controversy.
Yeah,
Like there's
yeah,
never been like a Chris Brown moment
for
or
sure.
a Jerry Lee Lewis moment.
Or
Like it's
even, like, bowed out of the limelight ever. Like, I feel like a lot of
yeah.
pop stars who've had their moment, then they kind of slowly take a back seat and do stuff like start a record company or, like, are a
Yeah.
producer on stuff, but she's continued to
Yeah.
stay in the forefront, but always just elevated herself and worked really hard, but and yeah, without I mean, I could go on, but I
Yeah.
just was talking to a friend the other day. I watched the music video for Blow, which is very fun.
Mhm.
Um, but I was like, dude, she's this now we're talking about women's bodies, but I'm gonna say it. There
Sure.
was that she faked Blue Ivy's pregnancy and there was a surrogate because she was I just am so
I've
like
heard
I
that one.
you have heard
Yeah,
it?
I've heard that. Yeah, yeah, which that one seems very believable.
I this is when I go that's what I think is fun because one, it's not hurting anybody. Maybe it would be a little bit hurtful to her, but like to the point that you're in that is when you are in another realm of reality. To the point where
Yeah.
like, you can fake a pregnancy but still like have a baby and everything else. I'm like, I that's a world I'll never live in. That I would have
Yeah.
to fake a pregnancy for anybody.
Well, I don't know if you have to necessarily be that famous because I grew up watching a lot of Jerry Springer and Maury. Seems like
Yes.
there was a lot of fake pregnancies on there. A lot of people that are telling dudes that they're pregnant and they were never pregnant.
Do you think most of that show is fake?
I think it became fake.
Okay.
I think if you watch like early Jerry Springer, it's not really anything that crazy. And then it slowly became like just clearly scripted bullshit.
Right.
It's like a reverse Oprah. Like if you go back and watch early Oprah, whoa. It's like,
Really
oh yeah, it's
scripted?
like dwarf tossing and all kinds of
No, it's not.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
No.
you have to do this. At some point, go on YouTube and just look up, I don't know, early Oprah Winfrey show. It's like I'm in the KKK, but my wife is black. Like it's I mean, it is full like trash TV. And then she slowly turned into, the
That
megastar.
woman has hidden that.
Oh yeah. She has hidden a lot of things.
You think so? Do you think she's up with the Clintons?
I think so for sure. Yeah, she's yeah, her studio's haunted too, which is makes sense that she
How,
would move into a haunted studio.
how do you know that?
Uh okay, so this is kind of a little
Yes.
rabbit hole. So, um it's based in Chicago like her show.
Yeah.
She's like born and raised in Chicago in the shit, I think 1920s or 30s. There was a ship that was taking like the entire work like employees of this like electric company to this island on like the Chicago River, and it's like a big like steamship called the SS Eastland. And as everybody was getting on the ship, they were getting on way too fast, all on one side, and it capsized, and everyone died. There's like hundreds of people like drowned in this ship, and they are like, holy shit, not expecting this. So the ambulances and cops and everybody had to figure out a way to place to put all the bodies so that the families could come identify their, husbands, wives, whoever. And that place was this giant warehouse, which 80 years later became Harpo Studios, which is where Oprah's show is based out of. And people have always claimed to see ghosts in that studio.
Really?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Oprah put her show there.
Some people make a deal with the devil. Or a deal with spirit. I mean, if I'm a spirit and I'm hanging out, I'd love a show every day.
Oh, God.
I'd love a production to watch. I'd love
Yes.
to fuck with production right before the cameras turn on.
Oh my God. Just
I've
flicking switches and oh yeah.
yeah. I mean, a few theaters I've been in. I mean, you can there's like there's just I don't know what it is about theaters.
Yeah,
Why
isn't
they
that weird?
feel
There is a thing of like them just feeling haunted. A lot of them, like the Comedy Store is haunted, or allegedly,
yes.
like
Yeah, they said
and
there's the one in Savannah was very, very haunted. They said that they keep um a my friend works at it. I just did it
mhm,
with Spade. We did it. My friend was the assistant GM there, but she said when they got there, she was like, why do we have this light on stage? It's just a waste of electricity." And they were like, "No, no, 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 no." They're like, "We'll put that. We'll find a way to keep that in the budget." They're like, "That's our ghost
yeah,
light. That keeps the if you keep that part of the stage lit, I don't know, keeps them
yeah.
away or something else." Like, but I always wondered why it's giant hollow buildings is but I think it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, is it just people's, like it's a theater is very much a place where dreams can be made and die.
I want to think that that's what it is because part of me like wants to just think that shit is real, even though it probably isn't. Because I don't believe in ghosts, really. Like,
You don't?
no,
Now see,
no.
now you know so many things.
I'm
Now I can't
too
believe in ghosts, and I want to.
well. Then believe in it. I mean, it's not hurting anybody to believe in ghosts or not believe in them.
Yeah.
I think a little too rationally, like to a fault sometimes. Um, and so like in my head, as soon as you're saying like that it's a big hollow room, the first thing I think of is that, yeah, well, a theater obviously is designed for acoustics, for noise to travel. So the smallest noises are going to sound way louder in a theater than they would in
Mhm.
a house or, whatever. So a door creaking or something like that is going to sound way scarier in a theater. So people hearing those noises that otherwise they probably wouldn't even register in an other building, but in a theater
Yeah.
they register as like a door slamming, even though that's not what happened, or like a sound of a ghost moving. Which, so I think it's just the sound, and they're kind
That
of creepy looking, anyways. A lot of them, especially
right.
backstage areas, are weird.
Old pipes, old wiring.
Yes, getting carried
Also
through an acoustic
right.
design. Yeah,
Well, major drafts. You've got load-in doors
yeah,
and hallways, but
yeah.
I still wanna believe. It's
I
I
do too. No, I want to believe in aliens. I want to believe in ghosts. I want to
Do you
believe in
believe in
Bigfoot.
aliens?
No,
No
no,
freaking way. Come
no.
on.
I
You're from Texas.
what does that
You
have
do
to do with it?
I don't it's a vast, weird state.
Yeah, we do have weird shit here. We have like the Marfa lights, which I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it's
No.
terrifying. It's just these lights in this city called Marfa, which is where they filmed No
Oh,
Country for Old Men and
t
There Will Be Blood. Like
uh, um, Beyonce has a song about it.
yeah.
She does. She has a reference to Marfa and
Yes,
Cowboy Carter. I'm so
yes.
sorry. I cannot stop.
So right, so the Marfa lights, that's a weird, bizarre thing that is very unexplainable, or I mean, maybe not unexplainable, but it definitely has never been explained yet.
Yeah.
So there are things like that where I'm like, huh, like I wonder what that is. I don't know that it's aliens. I'm not saying it's aliens. I'm a very curious person, so like I like shit like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I want to think they're aliens. I want to think that there's a Bigfoot. Which out of any of that, Bigfoot's the one I probably believe in the most. It seems
Are you
feasible.
kidding me? You don't
Yeah.
believe in ghosts or aliens, the 2 things that make sense,
Oh,
and you believe
Bigfoot
in
makes.
Bigfoot?
Oh, you're out of your mind. Bigfoot makes way more sense because it is a thing that existed. It's just whether or not it exists now.
Like a dinosaur that accidentally cryo chambered
Uh,
itself,
well,
and
no.
then
Bigfoot's not a dinosaur. It's a big ape.
w
It's a Gigantopithecus is the name of the ape, but it's also called like a skunk ape. But it's like this giant, like if it's standing on its hind legs, like about 7 to 8 feet tall. But they did exist during like the Ice Age, like the post Ice Age. So
like
it
a
is a thing.
giant, hairy T-Rex ape kinda
Well,
thing.
well, see now you're throwing in T Rex. There's no dinosaur. I gotta specify that there's no dinosaur connection to this. This is millions of years after dinosaurs. So first, other words, yes. T Rex, no. But yeah, it's a giant ape that could walk on its hind legs, like was bipedal, and
Okay.
it existed until I mean, I don't want to say recently, but it was like 10 or probably like 15 to 20,000 years ago, which grand scheme pretty recent. But so there is, the theory like, well, what if a few of them didn't die?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that
and they're
and
just hiding somewhere
yeah,
in
and they're
Mafa
yeah, or Seattle adjacent,
that's so populated.
and that for some reason only weird ass psycho people are the people who can find them. That
Yeah,
no normal person has ever seen one. It's always some nut job looking for one.
kinda like the aliens. I kind of feel like, I would hope that, that they do good. Like, there's some like, they end up
That they
ki
do good.
like, I don't know, then maybe they eat people, but hopefully, like, some bad actual human being that has killed somebody gets framed for the people that the Bigfoot kills, and they go to jail for
Oh,
that or something. I don't know,
oh,
I
that
just
would be nice.
can I tell you my absolute made up theory or prediction for evolution? And you tell me if you
Ye
think that any way possible
yes.
it's real.
Yes, please.
Okay. Speaking of Bigfoot and apes, right?
Uh-huh.
I think, and this is again, I'm not a smart person, but I've got a great imagination. I do think that we as a people will probably extinct ourselves. I'd say in the next 300 years, maybe.
I'm with you.
By nukes or by sheer just lack of resources, and then we're all just killing each other for lack of resources.
Mhm.
Now, then the world kind of but land has been diminished. Climate change or whatever else, okay?
Mhm.
So all of a sudden, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a certain species that's been showing off lately in the underwater depths of the whales. I think
Yeah.
though that whales will eventually evolve from what we evolved from chimps. They will evolve into the next mega species, super species, aka parasites of Earth, which I think is what humans have pretty much become.
Yeah.
And they won't be like whales, like like whatever we came from chimps, like they will become that of from the whales,
Uh-huh.
and then they will populate, but they will be underwater. So now all of a sudden we'll have a New York City of the underwater world, and they will be
Atlantis.
Atlantis. Yeah, but it
Yeah.
might not be what we think of. It might be something different. But
A
and then
Reno.
and yes,
Yeah.
yes, an underwater Reno.
Yeah.
It seems more
Yeah.
Reno than Reno does.
Yeah, an Aqua Reno. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're working on that
Okay.
already.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
do you see that as possible? I mean,
Oh,
it's literally what happened to us.
yeah. I mean, basically, yeah, that's holy shit.
Could you see that?
It would be yes, yeah. I
Yes.
think I did not think I was gonna follow you on this, to be
Yes.
honest. I
Yeah.
had kinda some doubts.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Uh, yeah, yeah, well, it's understandable, but I no, fuck the haters. I think I'm with you on this. Like
You really
whales have been acting they kind of been, showing their nuts a little bit lately,
I
and
mean,
they're
it's
up to something.
I was just my brother got married. He lives in Juneau. He got married out there. We went out there and we just went whale watching and the blue whale? No, humpback whale. That's what it was. Humpback was we go out there
Mhm.
and we go out and I guess really I've never done it, but you maybe see a couple of them
Uh-huh.
breaching,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and everywhere we looked, I'm not exaggerating. I mean, there was one to the left, one to the right, and two down the center who were all breaching at the same time, and they were all jumping like everywhere. Like the
Oh,
the people driving the boats were like this. I've never seen anything like it,
yeah.
and it was I've had this theory for a second, and I was like, stuff is bubbling underneath the water. I think
Yeah.
something's coming.
Well, there's also been a bunch of shark attacks in the past couple weeks in Florida, like around like the, shitty part of Florida,
Yeah.
which actually is all of Florida, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the real shitty, the panhandle. And so there might just be something going on in the ocean that's just riling these fuckers up,
We don't even
which
know.
the ocean is terrifying. It's the most terrifying thing imaginable. Space is not that terrifying to me because it's
Really?
by definition just a bunch of fucking space, just
Yeah.
empty bullshit, and a bunch of rocks and gas and shit. Like there's nothing really that scary to me about space. The ocean is so terrifying. Like those dumb fucks that are like the billionaires going down to the
Yes,
bottom to
it's
see
so
the
funny.
Titanic. They can eat shit. I mean,
Right.
they're like that is so stupid to me. Oh, I
Like,
hate it.
it's a world that we can touch, but it's untouchable.
Yes, and it's not it ain't our domain, you know?
Yeah,
Like I could never beat up a shark in the ocean, but you get one on land and I can knock the hell out of a shark on
for
land.
sure. For sure. Or any other creature on land. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
we got guns and bow and arrows and everything else.
Oh yeah, put a
And
whale
stun
on
guns.
land and I'll,
Right.
give it a good shot. But yeah, like we're not meant to be there. We would have gills if we were meant to be in the ocean. We'd
For
have
sure.
flippers. I mean, some of us do have flippers, like the royal family, but they're still like, we're just not we ain't meant to
They're
be
not
there.
good flippers.
No,
They're bad
it's
flippers.
centuries
Yeah.
of inbreeding that have turned into flippers and yeah. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Have you ever seen King Chuck now? Have you ever seen his fingers? You ever taken a good look at them?
They're they're webbed, but kind of short. But see, I have short, stubby fingers too. But they're very. I know. I like that. My
Oh my.
fingers are gross. They're not good.
Well, yeah, gross is an exaggeration. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a finger and been like, God damn, that's a hot finger. But
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
very bad.
but
I see them. I see good hands because
see,
I have bad hands.
I have Trump hands. Like I got short, stubby fingers that
You've got a strong palm. You've got a strong core.
well, I've been alone a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's I got they're beefy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
like
your limbs, you're carrying most of your strength in the palm, not so much the fingers, the phalange part.
see, I would say more in my knees than anything,
Okay.
but
Gosh.
but yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay, you're a bouncer.
there's a lot bearing down on these knees. Um, like a pregnant woman kind of. But
All the
yeah, like
time.
for 28 years. Um,
That is a
yeah.
long pregnancy.
God, I'm in my 400th trimester. Um, yeah, like I just, I got these short fucking hands. I'm not exactly sure why we're talking about this, where this came from.
Prince Charles' hands.
Prince Charles. So, but luckily I don't have, so he has, I mean, his fingers are about yay big around and just purplish red. Like they're the weirdest looking fingers you've ever seen. And I highly recommend just taking a Google sometime and just look up King Chuck fingers. And it
Yeah.
is, yeah,
Do you think he's inbred?
yeah, I mean, I don't think he is. I mean, you can look up the family tree. It's there ain't a whole lot of forks off of it. I mean, it looks like a bamboo shoot more than anything. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're all cut. They're all related.
Right.
I mean,
They
even
have to
like
keep it
Princess
separate.
Diana, I think was related to him, like
No, she wasn't.
a little, like way further. I mean, well, not that far. But yeah, I mean, I think they were related. I mean, Queen Elizabeth and her husband Prince Philip, they were related.
They
They're
were
second
not.
cousins, second or third cousins. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you think the royal family will be around much longer?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
You do?
yeah, yeah. I
I
mean, well,
don't.
it's been around for fucking, I don't know, 1,500 years. I'm sure it ain't going anywhere. I think
Uh,
people just slowly give less and less of a shit about it.
yeah,
I think it'll just always be like a thing. I mean, hell, the Pope is still around. That's been around longer than that. I mean, you wouldn't think that'd be around.
that's very good. I mean, they've gone through more controversy than the royal family. I
Oh,
thought,
have they? Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
thought Meghan Markle and Prince Harry were about to be the beginning of the end of the royal family.
Yeah, see, the only problem is that people started to realize that they're dumbasses, and
You
that
think
ruined
so?
it. Yeah, yeah. I think people at first were like, "Hell yeah, finally some change," coming on, and then people started listening to both of them talk, like sitting next to each other, and you're like, "Oh, these people are complete jackass morons."
They're
Um,
they're kind of looking for you want them to be good people, but you realize
yeah,
they're
'cause-
fighting the good fight for fame.
yes, yes, and then pretending that they don't want to be famous and they want, don't give us attention or whatever. It's like, well, why are you on goddamn Oprah's show right now? Like,
Why
I
did
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Why
like,
did you sign a multi-million dollar deal with Netflix and Disney?
yeah, yeah. Oh, I can tell you exactly how to not be famous. I've done it my entire life. It's super easy.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they cannot help themselves, which who knows? But yeah, I think it'll be around. Why not? I mean, they're not hurting
Man.
anybody. I mean, I guess they actually are, but um, yeah, I do have a few random questions if you
Okay,
want to do some
sorry,
of
sorry.
these.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
I don't care. I mean, you're good.
Mine's
No, you're
mine is
good.
my I wanna know all about your conspiracy theory opinions,
Oh, that's
and if you
great.
believe
Yeah.
in my whale theory.
Oh, I do believe in the whale theory. The whale
Yes.
theory is, I still have a hard time believing that I believe in it, but I believe in it.
And
So,
and the few humans that last will be their Bigfoot.
oh,
Yeah, and it'll just be like
oh.
Cameron Haynes, just, like, hanging out by himself as the last human being.
If there was going to be like an apocalypse, would you want, and let's say 100 people survive, do you
I'm
want to be one of those 100?
I've always said I would sprinkle tahini around my asshole and walk straight out into the middle of whatever was killing or eating us and saying, "Take me."
Oh, I got you. The tahine thing, I wasn't sure where you're going with that, but now, yeah, no, no,
A
no.
nice little spicy snack. to
Right, right,
enjoy while
right.
you're devouring me.
Yeah, see, yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
hang about for a second.
Like a
Why
slow
would
Tuesday
I?
for me, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I'd stay. Dying is the most terrifying thing in the world to me. I'm
Yeah, I say
terrified
that.
of it.
I say
So,
that, but I also say, uh, I'm always like, we're scared of death because we live in America and our lives are pretty good for the most part.
yeah.
I've always like wondered like, people in third world countries or whatever else, they feel like they're like time to go in the front lines and give it all for my whatever, my country, whatever I believe in. And I'm always like, God, they always seem so ready to die. Is that crazy to say? That's probably a really nice thing to say.
No.
But
No, 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 it isn't. No, it isn't. I'm
it
with you.
always feels like it's like, and this is a very naive opinion, but I'm like,
Okay.
maybe it's because their lives aren't as comfortable and they're
I
okay with ending it.
I completely agree. So, because it's, if you go around the country, let's take the US, where are you going to find the most religious people? In the poorest parts of the country. The
Correct.
richer you go, the less Christians you're going to find. I mean, not
Mhm.
just Christians, but like Muslim, Hindu, whatever. The less religious people you find. So, because their lives are awesome, the richer you are in a way. So,
Correct.
like, you kind of don't want to leave. Like, this is heaven on earth if you're, a millionaire.
Yes.
Whereas if you're growing up, in a just slum somewhere in fucking Detroit or Macon, Georgia, like I mean, you're kind of like, get me the fuck out of here.
Right, right, right. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I'd rather go out a hero. Like,
Yes.
let's let the last day of my life be dope, because the rest of it hasn't been so great.
Yeah. See, I don't want to go out a hero. I'm going to go out the most cowardly way possible. I'll be crying, screaming, like, don't let me
Mhm.
go. It's going to be very sad. I shouldn't say any of that.
I I hope I go out hilariously.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to go out in a, like, with an oops. Like, I
Mhm.
would love for oops to be my last word.
An article about you?
Oh, God, that'd be amazing.
You'd like to go out as a meme?
That would be great.
Yeah,
Like Jack Daniels, the guy that made Jack Daniels,
yeah.
like, he died because he got pissed off trying to open his safe, and he kicked it, and it broke his toenail off, and he got an infection and died. Like,
That's great.
that's how I see myself kinda going.
He
Like, it's
could have
something
just
just
poured
stupid.
some whiskey on it and killed the infection.
They didn't really know about all that back then. I mean, it's actually germs were not really like a known thing until
Wild.
somewhat recently with like Joseph Lister, which is where like Listerine comes from.
Yeah?
Like he's, I mean, he's not the guy that discovered them, but kind of. Yeah, like there are people that just go out in very strange ways. Like,
Love that.
yeah, and I think that's probably where I'm going.
How
Something
did
like
Bob
that.
Marley, didn't he die of what was it?
He died from carcinoma or some type of cancer, which the urban legend is that he was playing soccer barefoot and broke off his toenail and it caused an infection that caused cancer, which I think actually isn't true, that he just got cancer and didn't treat it.
Right, right, right,
But I've
right.
always heard that too, that it was like from his
From a
toenail
toe.
coming off.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah.
If you're a megastar, watch out for toenail infections.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't let my feet breathe ever. So like I keep these fuckers in a pair of Chuck Taylors at all time.
Don't let them.
So I don't think I gotta
You
worry.
got bubble feet. Don't let those honeys expose to the real
Oh,
world.
I mean, you would think so, but with my weight on top of a pair of Chuck Taylors, like my feet are turning into goddamn deer hooves. It is.
You
It's
just
not
you
good.
got you don't even got 5 toes no more. You just got one big callus.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
got
yeah.
Prince Charles thumb feet.
Oh my god, yes. Like
Yeah.
zoom in on a picture of his thumb and then just stick it to my ankle, and that's
Yeah,
that's what we're running
baby.
with. God, I hate to turn you on or anything, but
Listen, you don't need your ankles as long as you sit over there and you tell us facts about who Janis Joplin's best friend was in preschool. We're
Oh,
gonna be A-okay with
she
it.
went to high school with Jimmy Johnson, the
See?
coach of the Cowboys, which
See?
is kind of interesting one. Port Arthur, Texas. So, random question:
Okay.
What game show do you think you do best? Are you good on time? I should ask you
Yeah,
that. Okay,
yeah.
okay, just want to make sure. What game show do you think you do best on?
Survivor.
It's my
Is that a
favorite
game show?
show.
Yeah,
It kind of. I mean, it's a competition
yeah.
reality show. I count it. I'll count it. I'll
Survivor.
allow it. Oh man, I love. That's my favorite show of all time.
Yeah. It's uh athletic mixed with a bit of personality, mixed with a bit of um knowing how to finagle yourself in the rest
Yeah.
of the world, which I don't, but I got a lot of charm and I got a lot of personality, and I think I could figure it out.
You yeah, damn. That's
Yeah.
actually really good. I could see you doing very well in Survivor, actually.
Wait, I said
Yeah.
that wrong. I'm an idiot. I'm in Amazing Race.
Okay. So, actually, I can see you doing very well in Survivor because you had me convinced that you were talking about Survivor, which is the
I
point of
did it.
Survivor. God, Amazing
No,
Race.
I'll take
What the
Survivor.
fuck is
I would do great on Survivor. I would do great.
Are you sure? Are you sure
Yes.
you're not thinking of, like, Deal or No Deal or something? I
No, no,
mean
no, no, no. Oh my god, did I say that? I meant, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, The Bachelor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
would do, Amazing Race. That's what I would
Okay.
be great at, but also Survivor. Probably I like to think I would do good on Amazing Race, but I'm probably more of a Survivor. I don't know a
Yeah.
lot about survival skills, but I'm
You don't have
okay in
to.
the elements,
You don't gotta know
surprisingly.
anything about survival skills. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
goddamn camera crew around you. What I mean, you're
exactly.
not gonna die. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's okay, if you could take any comic with you to be your partner on Amazing Race, who is it?
Um, I would take who's who can keep up with me running? I would take,
So you're not taking Bert.
I'm not taking Bert, absolutely not Bert.
That's
I'm
yeah, but
taking
he runs marathon. I mean, somehow that motherfucker can. Yeah, he's running like half marathons and shit. So
he
actually, he might be a surprise. It
but
might not be a bad one.
we he'd get some idea, and then we'd have to go, and then we get sidetracked because 'cause we'd have to go, bow hunting
Yeah, or if he
while we
gets
take
recognized, then it's
yeah, yeah,
over.
yeah,
Yeah,
while we're
yeah,
taking shots of Malort in Spain or something. I don't know, and he's like, "We're gonna
that's
do this."
yeah.
He would be a distraction. No, 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 I'm gonna go with who's an athlete? Oh, you know who's, like, really fit,
Athletic comedian.
but has charm? Do you know
Ooh.
who Preacher Lawson is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would take Preacher Lawson.
Oh, okay.
He's definitely more athletic than me, but he has a
Yeah.
charm about him. So even if we didn't speak the language, he'd be like, "Do you know how we can get to the castle?" And I don't know, he has like a charm about him that people just melt all over him. And I think
Yeah,
we'd find our way. I'd
that's
yeah.
great pick. Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
good one. Y'all could
I
actually
thought about
probably
that.
make that happen.
That would be a good team.
Yeah,
See, but
yeah.
then I know I'd be depicted as the villain between the both of us. I'm okay with that. I can play villain.
Villain's way more fun. I would
Yeah,
much rather be a villain. Like, I never watched like, whenever I watch Silence of the Lambs, I'm not cheering for Jodie Foster. No offense, Jodie Foster, but, I mean, she's the worst part of that movie.
you
Like,
wanna play a villain. Every script you get, when you figure out you're like,
oh, that
"Absolutely,
would be my dream is to play, like, Buffalo Bill on Broadway.
I wanna play." Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like, "Is
Dude,
that a song 6?" Like, just doing a Buffalo Bill impression,
I
all
always
over
just wanna
Broadway.
be, villains on animated shows. That's
That's a
that's
good
when,
one.
like right? Because
That's
then you have, like,
yeah.
no, there's not really a lot of emotion like, sad like, you don't really have to tap into actual,
No.
why am I a villain? Because 'Cause I'm sad because of this history. It's
Right,
just,
right.
like, straight up
Oh,
character
yeah.
work.
That's a
Mm,
that's a that's a great one. Jesus.
yeah,
Who was
I
your
love it.
childhood celebrity crush?
Mm, George Bush,
Yeah,
George
yeah,
W.
yeah,
Bush,
yeah, yeah, W. It's a
I
good
thought he
one.
was so cute, and, who was like a oh, I was obsessed with Paul Walker.
Oh, you definitely coulda got Paul Walker at about 13, 14,
You
because
think so? He was into the
uh,
Youngs?
he yeah.
He was?
Yeah, you never heard that about his girlfriend?
No.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was she young? Is this the one that he had a kid with?
I don't think it's the same person. I don't think it's the person he had a kid with, but when he was, like, upper 20s, he was dating, I believe, a 16-year-old. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
fine with it. I don't care. He was such a teenage heartthrob.
yeah.
I don't
No, I
I
mean, I'm not who gives a fuck? I ain't swaying you. I mean,
right. Once
yeah.
you're dead, sins are forgiven.
Eh,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. Well, yeah.
That's That's a quote from Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, it was a suicide note. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, hey, no more. Jesus,
Hey,
leave me alone.
hey, they did say when you die, if you get murdered, all sins are forgiven,
Yeah,
right?
arrest me now, bitch. Like that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
this. Yeah, God. How? Okay, here. Which so when you were a kid, let's say you know developed some like terminal disease,
Mhm,
leukemia, rickets, whatever.
mhm.
What would your make a wish have been? Say like
Mm.
10-year-old Katherine Blanford
10-year-old
gets a
Heather
make a
Blanford.
wish. Yeah.
I am terminal and I can wish for anything.
Yeah, like meet a celebrity, go to Disney World with I don't know, Mario Lopez, like something.
Yeah, no, I'm doing adventure shit. I think I would want to um like shark dive
Oh,
in like
yeah.
South America. Or yeah.
But I swimming with sharks is high up on my list.
Yeah, and you're gonna die anyways.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah,
mean,
I wouldn't want that to be the way to do it,
no,
but
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
think I think the sharks, I mean, you're terminal. Things are like, this is bad meat. And they're
That
fine with
is
that.
true. Yeah, they like sniff you first like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd wanna touch I if I'm dying, I'm not idolizing anybody. I'm dying. I'd wanna, like,
Yeah.
experience, like, the extremes of the world or, like, the majestic parts of the world, or,
Yeah.
like, travel somewhere and have some, like, insane excursion or something like that.
That is yeah, that's the way to go. I mean,
Mhm.
fuck meeting John Cena. Who gives a shit?
You're about to die. Why are you
Yeah.
idolizing
And
another human
that's how
being?
you're gonna spend the last moment is that meeting that fucking
No,
bland ass dude. Yeah,
no.
that's a good one.
Like, I'd like
Huh.
to, like, or, like, skydive and land on a horse in Iceland or something.
And land on a horse from the sky?
Yeah,
Oh,
I feel like
that's
I'm
pretty badass.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
think you could pull that off?
I'm a dying kid, and this is my wish. You better
Yeah, I
make
mean
it happen, make a wish.
I meant like could you land on a horse from 30,000 feet? I don't think you're
Um,
skydiving from 30,000 feet. That seems dumb as hell.
I
Yeah,
don't know,
but
I think
still.
you could slow down pretty quickly. Yeah, I think it could happen.
And also, I mean, if you just slam into that horse at,
Yeah,
120 miles per hour, who gives a shit? I
that
mean, you're
horse is gonna
going
be
out.
alright. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, or take something with you. I mean, that's kind of the best way to go is if you're dying, like, just grab someone, like, "You're coming with me, bitch." Like,
and
that's
just
so so that horse is the way to go. Like, if I had to jump off of, like holy shit, I probably shouldn't say. If I was one of the people in the trade centers and I had to dive off to, like, not get burned alive, I'm aiming for somebody. I'm like,
you are? You wanna take
"Yeah,
somebody out with you?
yeah."
Really, why? You
I
just
haven't thought this through.
you
Maybe
just
I
well,
yeah.
maybe it's like a coworker that you hated, and
Oh my oh
you're
my
like,
god.
"Carol, you're coming with me."
I'm grabbing Carol in a bear hug,
Yes,
good night, and we are
yes,
falling out. Oh
and
yeah.
even though you hate her, you're making out with her while you're falling through the sky. You're like, "Carol, this is our last seconds together. Let's make up." Then you 2 make out.
And then splat.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's like a Woody Allen movie.
That is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's art.
My god. What a way to end this. Holy shit. I mean, I have some other questions, but I don't even know if I really wanna ask
That's
them.
perfect.
You ever wear a racist Halloween costume? I'm kidding. You don't have to answer that one.
I
Uh,
think I did a sombrero one time and a poncho. Um,
is that at what point does it become like,
I don't know. It
or
was
if you're
fun.
Hispanic, are you mad about that?
I don't think so.
Like, is it just white people that get mad about that?
I am assuming so because it was
Hmm,
I mean,
yeah.
also, what if I was just a server during Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like the people at, Senor Frogs made me wear this shit. It wasn't
For
my
sure,
choice.
for sure.
Yeah, that's a
I don't
good
think
one.
I've ever done anyone bad, really. I dressed up
Yeah.
as Rihanna one year and did not. My friend was like,
Ooh.
"You should put a lot of bronzer on," and I almost thought about it, and then I didn't. This is in college.
Yeah.
I was, and but I didn't, and I'm very proud of myself.
Oh,
That got
you were
close though.
close.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
um, I was in South Carolina. I was in a you don't realize you're in a bubble till you get out of a bubble.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
so I will say people can change because they just haven't been exposed to
Yeah, sometimes
other
you
people that they
just
can change.
don't know that you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So now sometimes some things inexcusable, but, like, yeah, sometimes you
When
gotta
you're
give, like
around a lot of people that are like, "You should do that," and no one's going, "You should second guess that."
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no nobody's like, "For the love of God."
yeah, and you're 19, it's kind
Yeah,
of like, I get it. I get
yeah,
people that are young and, they're only around encouragers and there's not anybody checking them until you learn,
yeah,
and then you're like, "Oh, yeah, that's probably a bad move." But, I
yeah,
do remember, I do remember my roommate saying and I was like, no, no,
yeah,
and I just wore a it was no, it was just like a it was like a her Say My what's my name? Say My Name
say my name,
is a song
man.
with no,
Um,
What's My
what's holy
There
fuck.
was a song with Drake.
Yeah, I know.
I can't it was from that music video.
Yeah, my
Mhm,
god. I
mhm.
mean, yeah, you definitely dodged a bullet. You could have had a Trudeau moment there for a second
Yeah,
real
yeah, yeah,
quick,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
which,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's always time. You could do it this year. Why not?
You know,
Because I think I'm going as OJ Simpson, just,
you
in
should
memoriam. Yeah.
just with one glove on.
Yep.
Good, that's smart.
That was fine. You can go as Nicole Brown, actually.
I could. I don't know if people would recognize me.
Yeah.
Her sisters are hot. Did you see all her sisters in that interview?
Oh, yeah.
They're all hot. They're all looking
Yeah.
good.
Oh, that family was, yeah. Yeah.
Blessed. Blessed.
It's amazing how that happens. Some people, you just see them and you're like, God damn,
Good
how
genes.
unfortunate. Yeah. And then you see some people, you're like, you poor bastards. Like,
Yeah.
none of y'all had a chance. Like, yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like who's a whole ugly family?
Oh, Bruce Willis.
His whole yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it about old Rumor and Scout and all them and Tree or whatever the hell the other kid's name is, but
Yeah.
they unfortunately, I mean, goddamn, what are the chances? Your dad's Bruce Willis, but your mom is Demi Moore, and you end up coming out Bruce.
All Bruce.
God, that's gotta be. I mean, God is
They
not
can they can
giving
change
you.
around. Look at the Kardashians. You can turn it around.
Yeah, and actually, I saw like a picture of Rumor Willis not that long ago, and I was like, God damn, Rumor Willis is very attractive.
She's good
Uh,
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, she hides the Bruceness a little bit,
Right.
which helps.
You can with money. You can look out you can be whatever race you wanna be with money.
Oh, yeah, Ariana Grande. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you can also Bruce Willis size yourself with
For
enough money.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Y
yeah, which is
and
really the American dream, I think.
hopefully we all get to that point. May we get to this point.
Yeah, that's who I'm basing my vote on. Is
Whoever
who can make this country a country where I can
sexy.
become less Bruce Willis.
Yes.
Yeah,
Who's gonna de-Bruce this country?
who will Bruce America?
That's beautiful.
Well, now that's the way to end it. Yeah, fuck the splatter off of the World Trades. Holy fuck. Well, Catherine, this has been goddamn amazing.
Thank you so much.
No,
I
this
hope
has been
that,
so much fun.
people don't lose brain cells after listening
I
to
think that's
my
inevitable for both
okay.
of us, to be honest. Because again, I try to hide the fact that I'm kind of a dipshit,
No.
but you give
Work
me enough time and it'll come across.
it's working
So
for you.
thank you
Of
so
course.
much. Well,
Thank you
okay,
for having me.
no, absolutely. Before you go, plug, promote
Yes.
everything. I never even asked you to do that, so
No,
holy hell.
if you wanna continue to hear more imbecile shit, you can follow me on Instagram at It's Katherine Blanford, and then also on YouTube. I have a special I'm in the works of editing now, so I don't have a date that's coming out, but hopefully I will within the month. I'll be announcing it, and it'll most likely just come out on YouTube for free and maybe somewhere else too. But, say, "Hey, I'm always on tour, so I'm doing shows all across the country, and it never ends. So I'll probably be in your city more than likely within the year.
Hell yeah. Well, all right. Let me go ahead and